Eyes. These two big balls in your face, which are rather important for sim racers and real life racers as well. In this video we're gonna check why they are important and how to improve them. Eyes are extremely important, probably one of the most important tools what you have to be fast in sim racing, also in real racing as well. But especially in sim racing, those are very important because you don't get this G-force sense of speed type of thing. So you need to be really using your eyes efficiently a lot. For example, you're coming to a corner and let's say it's a hairpin, you're driving an F1 car. Coming in 320 kilometers an hour, and if you're able to focus your eyes on your turning point for the whole braking zone time, you will acknowledge and acquire how fast are you approaching this apex, and with that you're able to nail the corner. If you're not able to do that, your eyes keeps on tingly dangly dongly everywhere, and you're not able to acquire in sim racing how fast you're going, which means that you tend to miss your apexes, miss your braking points all the time, which makes you slower and which helps others to win the races. That's how important eyes are. To use your eyes properly in sim racing, you need to get into a rhythm with your eyes and with your driving as well. It's like dancing. In some sims it's dancing on ice, but let's not go into that one. So what you need to do is you need to select, the first time you drive a track with a car, you need to select your braking points, entry points, exit points, and just start nailing it down into your brains that where do you need to watch when you're racing and learning the track. So the basic principle of racing and using the eyes is watch your braking point. You have your braking point. Just before the braking point, when you're about to start the brake, you start watching the entry point. And you do your braking and watch to the entry point, and once you're soon to be close to the entry point, you switch your eyes to the mid-corner point and you make the turning. And which after, obviously you do the mid-corner, and again, when you're close to the mid-corner point where you're heading, you start watching the exit point. So with that, you're always able to acquire long distances of where you need to go. And you keep those points for a long time, which means that you don't get inconsistent at any point. You always 3-4 high points, and with that you're always able to acquire what's going on, how fast are you going, did you miss the apex, did you miss the braking, whatnot. So that's how you do the eye control in sim race. Have you heard about eye strain? You know, when you race over an hour or 2 hours, your eye starts to get all nasty, you know, red eyes, or you just you can't see anything. You get an eye strain. It's really important to make sure that your eyes work properly. So especially when you're on high refresh rates and you have a lot of area, like I do have like 96 inches of BenQs in front of me. It's really important to keep your eyes in control and working. One way is to take breaks every hour, every 1.5 hours, because otherwise your eyes gets way too tired. What I do is I use BenQ's eye care and HDR settings, as well as, you know, when the colors and the refresh rates are in balance, I'm always able to do longer runs once I go into racing, so a couple hours shouldn't be any problem. Few beautiful words about field of view, how many inches do you got, and of course immersion. So immersion means that how well are you able to acquire the realism in sim racing. So basically when you're driving, are you completely immersed in the racing simulation. So basically, do you feel like you're really driving the car? That's immersion for me at least. And the better the immersion, the better you're able to acquire all these small things. And yeah, field of view is extremely important tool for immersion, and obviously for me, refresh rate as well. The field of view, what I have with the BenQs is 96 inches, so it's like 3 times 32-inch monitors, and with that I'm able to acquire a lot of things. So, you know, using eyes, you're mainly focusing on one pinpoints like we discussed earlier, but your eyes and your brains acquire much more, like sense of speed and what is going on, when does the braking point go from my left side, you know, these 100 markers on track before the turns, and with that immersion and field of view, the bigger the field of view, it improves the things what you acquire without focusing your eyes on. So your brains basically works in a way that you use your eye to a braking point. So you acquire the braking point. And you could basically stop watching and focusing your eyes on it directly because you have acquired it. And when you have a massive field of view in front of you, which is one-to-one in the realism, you acquire that this 100-meter marker is coming, and you know that even though you're not watching it, you acquire it and you know when to start braking. That's how important the immersion and the big field of view is. And obviously what comes with the immersion, the better the immersion, the better you know what's going on the track. So that's why more screen area and the better it is. 180 degrees, obviously more realistic, and the better you drive. Last thing, refresh rate. I know a lot of people are saying that you don't need high refresh rates or whatnot, you know. I know from my experience that I've tried with 60 Hertz, 85, 120, 144. The higher I go, the better I drive. The reason for me is the more frames per second and the more times per second is the screen refreshed, the better I acquire things. So immersion is much better. So using these BenQs, 96 inches in total with 144 Hertz, I'm able to acquire pretty much everything what I need. So that's how important the higher refresh rates are, and that's why I highly recommend and selected BenQs myself, because that you get massive screen area, in addition to that you have a high refresh rate, and with that your immersion is more or less complete. These were the basic pro tips from using your eyes, and what kind of hardware do you want to have when you're trying to reach the top of sim racing. I hope you guys liked it. If you did, please let us know and we'll do more of these. If you didn't, tell what we could improve. Any questions? Ping us. Catch you next time. See you later.